Welcome to the Geostrategic Podcast.
Salute everyone, and thanks for joining us for this deep dive. A silent shift is happening in Southeast Asia's skies. Thailand may be about to acquire one of China's most powerful drones, the Wing Loong II. Capable of flying 20 hours nonstop and launching precision strikes, this $2 million machine could change the balance of air power across the entire region. For a fraction of the price of America's MQ-9 Reaper, China's Wing Loong II dock is now challenging Western dominance, and Thailand could be its next showcase. If this deal goes through, it won't just reshape Thailand's military, it might redraw the Indo-Pacific's entire power map. Stay tuned.
Yeah, that really sums it up. The stakes are genuinely huge here, not just for Thailand, but for the whole region watching this unfold. So our mission today basically is to dive into the geostrategic side of this. What does this potential buy actually mean for Thailand's defense? And how does it really ripple outwards across the Indo-Pacific power map? It's a fascinating mix of tech, money, and politics.
Okay, let's unpack this then, starting with the drone itself, the Wing Loong II. What makes this particular machine such a big deal?
Well, it sits in that male category, medium altitude, long endurance. And just to be clear, this isn't some hobby drone. It's a serious strategic piece of kit. The Chinese military, the PLA, they call it the GJ2. And the size tells you a lot. It's 11 meters long, wingspan over 20 meters. It's built for staying power,
And that staying power, 20 hours, you said, up to 9,000 meters altitude. What does that practically do for a military like Thailand's?
It gives them eyes in the sky constantly. 20 hours means you launch it, and it can just, loiter, patrol huge areas, think the Gulf of Thailand or those long land borders, providing nonstop ISR. That's intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance. It means continuous tracking of, say, illegal fishing boats or monitoring border activity, stuff that's really hard, maybe impossible to do continuously with piloted aircraft.
And then there's the disruptive part. It's not just about watching, it's about striking and doing it cheaply. So what's the edge China's offering here?
It's really that combination, like you said. Capability, proven capability, I should add, and cost. The payload capacity is around 480 kilograms. That's quite a bit. It has 6 points under the wings to carry things.
And what kind of things are we talking about? What munitions can it carry?
It's pretty versatile. You've got laser-guided missiles like the Blue Air 7, which is good against tanks or other vehicles. Then there are bombs like the FT-79 family and these specialized laser-guided sliding munitions. So it allows for precision strikes, hitting specific targets, moving or static. Think counterinsurgency support or maybe intercepting suspect vessels at sea. It moves them beyond just watching into, real-time action.
And the price tag we mentioned, that's the real kicker, isn't it?
Absolutely. The estimates hover around $1 to $2 million per unit. I mean, you have to compare that to something like the US MQ-9 Reaper, which costs many, many times that, often 10 times or more. So you're potentially getting, let's say, 80% of the capability for maybe 10% of the price. That completely shakes up the market. It's fundamentally disruptive.
And this isn't just a theoretical capability China's selling. They've actually got these things out there working.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
China has really emerged as a major drone exporter. They've sold over 100 Wing Loongs, the family of drones, not just the 6. They're flying in the Middle East, Africa, Asia, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Nigeria, places like that. And crucially, these drones have seen combat. Yemen, Libya, that real-world operational experience lets China rapidly refine the systems, the targeting, everything. So buyers like Thailand aren't getting an experiment. They're getting something pretty well tested.
Okay, so effective, affordable, battle-proven. Now let's pivot to Thailand. Why them? They're a major non-NATO ally of the U.S., traditionally looking west for this kind of high-end gear. Why look east now?
Right, that's the core question. It comes down to Thailand's strategic thinking and their specific needs right now. They do operate surveillance drones already, Israeli types, like the Searcher Mk2, the Hermes 900, but those are mostly for reconnaissance. They lack this armed male capability, the long-range precision strike function. That's the gap, and it feels like a pressing one for them.
Is that gap made more urgent by what's happening around them?
Exactly. Look at the neighbors, Indonesia, Myanmar, Vietnam. They're all buying or developing their own attack drones. So there's a regional dynamic. Thailand needs to keep pace, maintain deterrence. But there's also history here. After the 2014 coup in Thailand, several Western nations put restrictions on arms sales. That definitely pushed Bangkok to look elsewhere, pragmatically.
So Western policy kind of nudged them towards China, in a way.
It certainly opened the door wider, and Thailand walked through it. Since 2014, they've bought Chinese tanks, the VT-4s, other combat vehicles, even Yuan-class submarines. It's not a sudden shift. It's been building. If you look at the numbers, from 2014 to 2023, Thailand's defense imports from China actually outpaced those from the U.S. The Wing Loong II is just the latest, maybe most significant step in that direction.
Okay, so given this trend, what are the immediate jobs for the Wing Loong II if Thailand gets them? What problems are they trying to solve day to day?
The needs are pretty clear. First, policing their waters. That 20-hour flight time is huge for monitoring the Gulf of Thailand and the Andaman Sea, tackling illegal fishing, smuggling, piracy. Second, internal security, particularly in the south where there's ongoing insurgency. The drone offers persistent surveillance over remote areas, plus the ability to strike targets quickly if needed. Border monitoring along, say, the Myanmar-Cambodia borders is another big one.
Does this also act as sort of a stopgap? Are they trying to build their own drones too?
That's a really good point. Yes, they are. Thailand has its own drone R&D, like the U1M Sky Scout X program. They want indigenous armed drone capability. But that's likely years away from being fully operational or mass-produced. Buying the Wing Loong II gives them that high-end strike capability right now affordably. Lets them build up experienced doctrine, figure out how to actually use these things effectively while their own programs mature.
And it seems like this deal has real momentum behind it.
It does.
Yeah.
There was that recent visit by a high-level Thai military group to the KK facility in China, where these are made. Seeing the assembly lines, the simulators, that kind of visit is usually seen as a pretty strong signal. Often it's one of the last steps before serious negotiations get finalized. Shows real intent.
Okay, let's zoom out again. If this deal happens, it's more than just Thailand getting new drones. It signals a deeper connection to Beijing's military-industrial complex, right? What are the bigger geostrategic waves this makes?
Absolutely. This is where it gets really interesting regionally. The Wing Loong II wouldn't just be a standalone weapon. It would likely plug into Thailand's push for a digital battlefield.
Can you unpack that digital battlefield idea a bit? What does that mean in practice?
Sure. Basically, it's about networking everything, connecting their jets, ships, ground forces, and drones together so they share information in real time. The Wing Loong II, with its long endurance and sensors, becomes a really important node, feeding constant data into that network. Operationally, you could see them based near the borders with Cambodia or Myanmar, or patrolling those sea lanes we talked about.
But plugging a Chinese system like this so deeply into their network, that must create issues with their existing Western gear, their Grippins, their F-16s.
That's the massive trade-off, and probably the biggest headache for Bangkok, integrating Chinese command and control systems, data links. It could genuinely limit how well these drones work with their Swedish Gripen fighters or their American F-16s in the future. You risk creating sort of two separate systems that don't talk to each other properly, a technical divide within your own military.
So why take that risk? Is the immediate need and the cost saving just that compelling? It seems like a big gamble on future interoperability.
The need is pressing, and the cost difference is, frankly, enormous. But yes, it's a gamble, and Washington is definitely watching this nervously. The U.S. has major concerns about allies integrating Chinese ISR platforms. The worry is cybersecurity, data leaks. Could the data these drones collect end up accessible to Beijing? That compromises not just Thai security, but potentially sensitive info related to U.S. cooperation or systems.
And this isn't the first time the U.S. has faced this kind of dilemma with partners, right?
No, definitely not. We've seen similar tensions with the UAE, Egypt, others who've bought Chinese drones alongside Western equipment. What maybe makes Thailand stand out is just how significant this potential buy is, and how clearly it follows that eastward procurement trend we discussed. For China, though, this is a huge win if it goes through.
Beyond just the money from the sale, what does Beijing gain?
It cements their role as a major arms supplier right in America's traditional backyard in Southeast Asia. It validates their whole UAV diplomacy strategy, using drone sales to build influence and partnerships. They're proving they can offer advanced, reliable tech, often faster and cheaper than the West, without needing messy alliances or bases. It's a powerful way to project influence.
And the moment Thailand signs on the dotted line, you'd expect neighbors to react. That ASEAN arms race gets another boost.
Oh, absolutely. It's almost guaranteed to trigger responses. Malaysia, Indonesia, Vietnam, they'll all be looking at this and recalculating. Do we need something similar? Can we afford not to have this kind of capability if Thailand does?
Yeah.
It definitely adds fuel to that regional drone competition fire. Nobody wants to feel left behind technologically.
So putting all this together, the tech, the cost, Thailand's specific needs, the U.S. concerns, China's strategy, the regional reaction, what does it tell us about how countries in the Indo-Pacific are buying weapons today?
It tells us it's a genuinely multipolar landscape now. Old Cold War alliances still matter, but they aren't the only factor. Cost is huge. Getting the capability you need now is huge. Maintaining a degree of strategic neutrality, balancing ties, that's key for many Southeast Asian nations. Thailand's move really underscores that shift. They're prioritizing immediate, affordable capability, maybe even at the expense of smooth interoperability with legacy Western partners. And looking ahead, if this deal happens, Thailand could even become a regional hub for maintaining Chinese drones that would further embed China's defense industry in the region.
That's a really clear picture. So this potential Thai decision, it's way more than just buying some new hardware. It's a reflection of a bigger strategic recalibration happening across the region, driven by cost, capability, and this complex dance between major powers.
Exactly. And what really stands out, I think, is that whether this specific deal goes through tomorrow or not,
Huh.
the fact that it's being seriously considered this far along, that possibility itself tells you volumes. It shows how Southeast Asia has become, maybe unexpectedly, one of the most critical and dynamic arenas for drone competition in the 21st century.
A fascinating convergence indeed. Technology, strategy, economics, all playing out in the skies over the Indo-Pacific. Well, thank you for helping us unpack that today, and thank you all for listening to this deep dive. You can find our other analyses wherever you get your podcasts.
Until next time.
If you found this discussion valuable, please like, share, and subscribe to the Geostrategic Podcast for more in-depth analysis on topics that shape our world. Stay informed, stay ahead, and stay tuned for the next episode.